Hi everyone, this is your reporter Yunfei from Hunan Province, the capital city of the province Changsha City. And we are now at the China National Hybrid Rice Research and Development Center. This is the birthplace of China's super hybrid rice. And right next to me is Ms. Zhu Hongjing, who has a rich knowledge about China's hybrid rice, and she is our guide today. Welcome here.
Hi, Yunfei.
Yeah. And now let's go inside, take a closer look at the exhibition hall of the hybrid rice. Yeah. Hongjing, when was this center founded?
Yeah, it's back to 1984.
Founded by the father of hybrid rice.
Yes, and his team, yes.
And Mr. Yuan Longping.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can see there are two big pictures right in front of us. So tell us, what are those pictures about?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, firstly, we can see this is President Xi Jinping when he was visiting the national winter breeding base in Sanya, Hunan Province in April this year. And together with Professor Yuan Longping, they were observing the great performance of super hybrid rice in the experimental field.
Yeah.
And the other one was taken from the first Lancang Mekong meeting in 2016 during the Boao Forum. And on that meeting, Premier Li Keqiang strongly introduced the super hybrid rice to the leaders. So we can see from these two pictures the great importance attached by the central government to the hybrid rice development.
Yeah, so tell us more about Mr. Yuan Longping. How old is he right now?
Wow, he's almost 80. 90, sorry.
88, right?
88, yes.
88, still working very hard.
Yes, very.
Was an example for us young generation.
Yes.
Yeah, so I see
exactly.
a bronze statue here.
Yeah.
So very interesting, old man lying on the ground. So tell us, what's this statue?
Well, it is actually a bronze statue of Professor Yuan. And actually, this statue is a vivid reflection of a real dream he once had twice. And this dream is called Enjoying the Cool Shade Under the Rice Plants. And this is one of his two Chinese dreams. And in his dream, the rice can grow as tall as sorghum, and the rice panicles can be as long as brooms, and the spikelets as big as peanuts. And he is enjoying the cool shade under the rice plants.
So the hybrid rice can be as tall as a tree,
in
right?
his dream image.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. And there's some pictures here fighting against hunger. We know that in China, in the history of China, the rise and fall of many different dynasties often fall upon the how can they solve the hunger of their people. So tell us, did the hybrid rice solve China's problem of feeding the world's largest population?
Definitely. You know, back to then, like 1940 to 1960s, there were like this period of food shortage, of severe food shortage. And with that circumstances, Professor Yuan Longping initiated the hybrid rice research. And they found the most efficient way to solve the hunger problem is to increase the yield of the grain. Yeah. So developing hybrid rice.
By the way, what's the increase compared to the traditional rice?
Yeah, you mean, yes. We can take a look at the more board here. So compared to conventional rice, we call inbred rice, we can see the yield increase. That this is a hybrid rice yield increase over the conventional rice.
By the way, this is the original traditional rice,
yes,
and this is the first generation of the hybrid rice. We can see a 20% increase.
Yes.
And now we're using the super hybrid rice, which is an 81% increase compared to the traditional rice.
Yeah, in terms of
it was
yield.
an amazing achievement.
Yes.
Right. So, we know that you have a very experienced colleague here waiting for us to elaborate on the hybrid rice. Right. This is
Professor Peng Jiming, the senior breeder of hybrid rice.
Nice to meet you, Professor Peng. Yeah. So, you are a leading expert in hybrid rice, and you are very experienced in expanding hybrid rice to the world. And tell us, what are the latest achievements that your center has done in recent years?
Yeah, in fact, the MOA, Ministry of Agriculture, set up a super rice breeding program. In this program, the team led by Professor Yuan, made some of the new breeding materials. Professor Yuan proposed a new breeding type, is the ideal plant type. So the members of his team create some of the really new breeding materials like this. This is a big panicle type. You can see the panicles is really big. The grains of the panicle is more than the number of the grains is more than 500 grains.
So the original traditional rice is just
This is
half
not
of the
not
size
traditional.
of
This is really new.
Very new.
Very new is not the traditional. Traditional is a small one. Is a very big one. The big type. So this is the R lines. The R lines, because the R line and the A line or S line closed by the R line, then produce the F1, the F1Cs, produce a very strong heterosis. Yeah.
We know that you have been in Dubai to
Yes.
expand the hybrid rice.
Yes.
Tell us your story.
Okay, and the Qingdao Research Center, led by Professor Yuan, cooperated with some the Dubai, and they established the taste base. And this year we.
So you grew hybrid rice in desert.
Yes. We established the taste base. We at the desert. We tested some of the more than 80 rice hybrids for the tester. Finally, we got the very nice test result. The yield reached the 360 kg per mole and 521 kg per mole. That's a very nice result.
That sounds a very big output for us. So
Okay.
tell us, talking so much about hybrid rice, but we do not know the principle, the functionality, and how it can be, how can produce so big output. So tell us why the functionality of the.
Okay, in fact, now hybrid rice technology developed to now we established in fact created some of the very new achievements. This is the three lines. So three
The
lines.
first generation.
Generations. Yeah, for this one, I think this is the A line closed by the R line, produce the F1Cs. The A line closed by the B line, maintain line, produce the A lines. This is the map.
So you can see this diagrammatic layout of the three-line system hybrid rice.
This is A line. This is the B line. Produce the A lines. The A line produces the F1Cs closed by the R lines. This is the F1Cs production, commercial production.
It looks like we're going to the primary school class. Tell us, you are expanding, your center has been making lots of efforts to extending hybrid rice overseas. So what are the latest situation here?
Yeah, for the F1Cs production, I think in China, the F1Cs yield is very higher. So sometimes the yield reached to the 4.5 tons per hectare. So the F1C's yield is higher. We can decrease the cost and decrease the rise of the F1Cs. The Chinese farmers can afford the F1Cs, cost no problem. That's good for the development of hybrids in China.
So final question for you. We know that your team and Professor Yuan Longping's team has been making lots of efforts on developing the third generation hybrid rice. So when can we see the third generation on the market?
Yeah, the third generation is very, very new. And I think Professor Yuan proposed this conception is just 2 years. What is the third generations? We call this the lines, we call it gem lines. That means the panicle the panicle, the one panicle can produce the two kinds of the seeds. One is the pink seeds. The other is the normal seeds. The pink seeds can produce for the multiplication. The normal seeds can be used as the F1 seeds productions. That's really new technology.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Talking about technology, after China's reform, before China's reform and opening up, before 1978, China is very lagging behind the West, especially in terms of technology. But in the 1980s, we know China export one technology to the US. That is the hybrid rice, right?
Yeah.
It's true. So tell us, what's the technology there?
So hybrid rice technology was considered as the first agricultural patent that has ever been transferred to an outside country in China's history.
Yeah,
we can see the picture
in
here.
1980,
Yes,
China's
back to
hybrid
the
rice was
1980s.
transferred to the USA as the first agricultural patent technology. Very remarkable achievement. So this is Professor Yuan Longping, right?
Yes.
And this is the American expert.
And he was delivering the technical instructions in the field to the experts.
So what's the situation of the hybrid rice plantation in the US right now?
Right now, I think it's very outstanding. So up to now, the figure is hybrid rice takes over 60% of the all rice planting area in the USA now.
And this is the Chinese experts have been invited to be the international consultants for instructing hybrid rice programs outside China.
Yeah.
So what's the overseas hybrid rice right now?
Yeah, with the influence of the hybrid rice technology soaring over all these years, a lot of experts have been invited to be this consultant on the technology.
How many countries right now are planting the hybrid rice?
I think it's over 40 countries in the world that have already conducted the trials, at least in their countries.
And they're all using Chinese technology?
We provide the technology services to them, yes.
Oh, so tell us more about this. This is where Mr. Yuan Longping has been renowned as the father of the hybrid rice, but
Yes.
this title was given by
This gentleman,
yeah.
the former president of the International Rice Research Institute, yes.
Okay, you can see the pride of the world, and his achievement has brought the gospel to the world. Right.
Yes.
Okay, and you have been tell us more about those pictures.
Yeah, due to the outstanding contribution delivered by the Professor Yuan, every year we receive many delegations coming from outside China. Among them are the state leaders. We can see the Prime Minister of Mozambique, and this is the King of Liechtenstein, and so on, and other leaders at the ministerial level, yeah, as well.
Okay, and there is a map here. Right. So those are the countries where the hybrid rice are planted. So
Yeah, this is just a rough distribution of their hybrid rice planting in the world. Then we can see up till 2017, the over 40 countries that have at least conducted the trials of hybrid rice in their country, and the annual extended area of hybrid rice outside China reached over 6 million hectares.
6 million hectares.
Yeah.
And how many hectares right now in China that are planted with hybrid rice?
Yeah, in China, I think that's more than 5 million
5 million. So
hectares. Yes.
So the area planted with hybrid rice right
Yes,
now
sir.
is bigger than those in China.
Uh,
In China, it's 5 million, but
That's
outside China.
outside the whole, all put together, outside
Oh.
China. Yes.
So let's do a little calculation. China's rice production accounts for about 30% of the world's rice production, and the hybrid rice production accounts for almost half of China's rice production. So that's little is about the total hybrid rice production accounts for about 30 to 40% of the total world rice production, right?
But Professor Yuan is not satisfied with this figure in the world.
So,
because his another Chinese dream is to cover the whole world with hybrid rice, so as to
very
fulfill
ambitious,
his lifelong wish. Yeah.
those are the medals that have been rewarded to Mr. Yuan Longping and your center.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to here. Go here. See more about that. So, we've been talking much about the third generation of the hybrid rice with Professor Peng. So, I know you are at the International Communication Department of the center. So, how do you feel in your work when you're talking with the foreigners about the hybrid rice?
Every time I talk to the foreigners in terms of hybrid rice, they will be very surprised to see, wow, this very high yield of hybrid rice. And then they will be very interested in learning this technology so they can bring the technology back to solve their food security problems. Yeah.
So, Mr. Yuan Longping, is written in our textbook, even in primary schools.
Yes.
So, how do you feel when you first time saw him at this center?
Well, when I first time saw him, that's because I entered the workforce in my center right after my graduation.
Yeah.
So from then on, he is this very wise and kind of leader, and of course a very great scientist to me, not just a superstar in my textbook anymore. And I've felt I admire him so much. And I felt, very honored working here. Yeah.
So, where is he right now? Where is he right now?
Yeah, he's in Sanya for winter breeding right now.
Still working.
Yeah, very
Just
hard.
like us. Okay. So much for talking, and thank you very much for watching CGTN's live on hybrid rice. Stay tuned in CGTN for the real-time China. See you soon.